Integrity Commission is seemingly concerned about the movement of millions of dollars among three companies associated with Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.
I hear man talk all kind of lie about 20 million and 28 million. Lie! Me not take no salary increase. So my salary is what it was before. And I tell you something, I feel like just get back to. Because me's a proud man, you know. Me not like people tell lie for me.
We don't really take Jamaican people for idiot. In light of all these investigation that is going on into corrupt political officials who don't want the DPP to stay there, and just like what you say, this DPP has never, Jamaica has never seen her investigate political officials and seen them go to prison. We have never seen it. Why would we want her there? You have increased public sector workers' salary.
Hello everyone watching this video. I hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. Now there is this very pressing issue I'm gonna talk about in this video. Now this is about the corruption that is happening in most black countries. There has always been the issue of conflict of interest, of which has caused a lot of mayhem in our country's economy. So I watch this video, then have a quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
The Integrity Commission is insisting that it cannot certify the Prime Minister's assets, liabilities and income unless the Financial Investigations Division (FID) examines the matter. The FID is basically responsible for probing financial crimes.
Now Andrea Chisholm has been reading the report and now joins us live. Andrea?
Well, Janella, the update comes as the long-awaited Integrity Commission report on the Prime Minister's statutory declarations was tabled Tuesday in the House of Representatives. Now, we must point out that the report is 171 pages, so we're still going through the details. Plus, there's a special report as well as an addendum and other details. Now, the report showed that the Integrity Commission was mainly focused on three companies associated with the Prime Minister. The three companies that form part of the Integrity Commission's probe are Estate Bridge Development Company Limited, Imperium Investments Holdings Limited, and Positive Media Solutions Limited. All three are linked to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Due to the complexity of the matter, the Integrity Commission hired an independent forensic examiner to assess the financial transactions between the three companies and determine the true value of the investments. The authorities looked at bank statements involving the three companies. Those bank accounts were held at three financial institutions: the National Commercial Bank (NCB), NCB Capital Markets, and Barita. Now, intercompany deposits among the three companies linked to the Prime Minister totaled roughly $473.2 million. Intercompany withdrawals amounted to roughly $427.2 million. That's for the period 2020 to June 2023. The Integrity Commission said records submitted for Imperium and the explanations from Dr. Holness do not fully account for the transactions. In addition, financial statements and other documentation from Imperium do not account for the movement of over $72 million from Positive Media to Imperium. Likewise, the management accounts of Positive Media and other documentation submitted to the Commission do not account for the amounts advanced to Imperium. Now, there's also an interesting development with the tax authorities. Tax Administration Jamaica indicated that Imperium filed a nil tax return for 2021 and 2022, meaning the business did not declare any income or expenses on the form. However, Imperium earned over $5.1 million in 2021 and over $6.5 million in 2022 in dividend, exchange gains, interest, and other income. Expenses for Imperium in 2021 were roughly $9.8 million and for 2022 roughly $9.5 million. Estate Bridge also filed a nil tax return for 2021. However, interest income was over $1 million. The Integrity Commission is therefore urging Parliament to support the matter being referred to the Financial Investigations Division (FID). The Commission says there can be no finality in the matter until the FID has completed its work. Now, after the report was tabled in the House, the Prime Minister was given the opportunity to make a personal statement. Now, Dr. Holness welcomed the fact that the report was tabled 2 years after the investigation began. He said he would be seeking legal advice on the report and the recommendations. He also said that he worked hard for what he had and made it clear that the interrogation of his personal affairs is not in any way connected to public funds.
I've always sought to discharge my duties with respect and dignity. Yes, that's true. Even for those who try to bring me down and do personal harm to my reputation. Oh, yes. The weaponization of accusations of corruption is nothing new in politics. However, even the most skeptical onlooker must conclude that the handling of this matter, the time it has taken, the public resources used to pursue it, raise cause for concern on many levels. While I will not pursue the view that this was politicized, I believe it is commonly agreed that the law governing the Integrity Commission is in urgent need of revision. The current context of its operations does weaken its credibility, and we must do everything to ensure that the appropriate laws are in place to prevent the politicization of the Commission and to support the Commission in its work. We must also ensure that the Commission itself is efficient and pays due regard to the use of public funds and the time and resources required of public officials to comply. To this end, the law must ensure that the work of the Commission focuses on relevant, significant, and material issues. Mr. Speaker, I will take legal advice on this report and its recommendations, including recommendations for referral to other entities.
These sensitive people's salary, and the story behind it is that so that you can encourage intelligent minds to come to the front of the room so that they can be employed. We tired her, take her out there. That's why the PMT is opposing. Jamaica is also opposing. They're not opposing just for the sake of opposing. She has ridden her season, the storm done, and a time for she move on. Jamaica needs to move on from her too. There are other qualified minds here who can do the job. Miss Paula Llewellyn, it's time to write up a resignation letter. Your time expire. Stop trying to extend. As far as I'm concerned, that DPP's office is full of conflict of interest. We have had investigations into so many political officials, and we've never seen any of them go to jail. And it causes us to think in our mind, I wonder, is this woman, is the House of Prosecution so deeply entrenched with government that we can't see no political officials go to prison no matter what kind of charges are put against them? There is never sufficient evidence, there is never sufficient this Jamaica top here about the case, all that. We don't want that anymore. We don't have stricter laws for the common man. But no strict laws to politicians and people in high places who are fraud in the country. Them will go to prison. If them go go to prison for house arrest of them yard, or maybe them go to prison for 1 3 years, or we don't hear about the story, they don't go to prison at all. We've never seen any political official who is being investigated and charged go to prison. If I am wrong, please correct me.
But today, Andrew have to come down. I mean, I know why everything I work in Andrew favor. Because I see them now, Beryl go come. He might go wall out people till election time. And take time, fix up the place. So people say, yeah, bro, God do a good job. Bro, God, they are Miller, move on not thinking, bomb clot and come down now, man. Me tired of blood clot, you know, bro, God. You want dirty Gregory Miller. Me wanna stop walking and fuck with people because of Andrew. Come right blood clot them. Bro, God, and pussy clot. What name? Thinking great.
Now, I know most of you are not aware of whatever is happening, and if you are aware, you do not know the real thing. Now, do you know whatever is killing our countries more than corruption? I know most of us do not know. Most of us think it is corruption. Of course, you are right. But the biggest monster we have in our societies and in our black countries is what is called ignorance. Now, most of our populations do not want to even to talk about whatever is happening in our countries. Now, most population, the bigger number of the population, will go around saying how much they hate politics. It is true. Most people hate politics because of whatever is happening in politics. But it is high time you realize that politics is whatever controls the economy, the social life, and almost everything that happens in the world is politically related. Now, talking about this, let me educate you. You might be thinking the Andrew Holness scandal, or let me call it the corruption case that is facing the Prime Minister of Jamaica, maybe has just started today or the other day. No. When the Prime Minister of Jamaica was sworn in years back, now a year later in 2016, now he went ahead to do an interview on a local TV station. Now, during the interview, he was being asked matters regarding the national unity and how Jamaica is doing in general, and they had the chance to ask him about corruption, and that's when the whole question about his companies being involved in contract procurement processes and all that came in. Now, that was the whistleblower. Later on, a month later, now the Integrity Commission of Jamaica wrote a very lengthy report and forwarded the report now to the leader, or let me call him the director of corruption in Jamaica. Now, the director's office has been doing investigation since then, and at some point they dismissed everything because the report was to be sent back to the House of the Representative. Now, the Speaker of the House of the Representative was to read and go through the whole report, and the House was to be convened and discuss about the whole situation and how the conflict of interest is playing part in government. Now, that was almost too impossible because the Speaker by then was Andrew Holness' wife. And after even she left as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, now the one who took over is also a JLP member. So there was somehow difficulties in solving the whole situation. Now, so the director of corruption went ahead to do his own investigations, and in the most recent report that has come out, he discussed and said that there are 3 major companies that have been involved with money laundering and money laundering and corruption scandals here and there, transaction fusions and everything. Now, later on, it was realized that almost $451 million were transacted between these 3 companies, and do you know what? To add salt to the wound is that this is the taxpayers' money. However much maybe they might have done legit businesses with other individuals, but the biggest stakeholder, the biggest customer, their client is the government. And being that Andrew Holness is the Prime Minister, they have been able to secure the biggest contracts in Jamaica. Now, the Jamaican Constitution, if you didn't know, has a whole process how the procurement process should be done. It has all that listed down, and how the conflict of interest should never play part in any government. Now, it goes ahead to state that any public officer, anyone holding a public office, cannot be engaged directly in business with the government due to conflict of interest thing. Now, when the Prime Minister goes ahead to award himself some big contracts, of which some are even overestimated and others underestimated, so that you might not know the exact price. Others are being overquoted, so that some materials are overpriced, so that the companies may make huge amount of profits. Now, this is whatever I've been talking about now, and I'm talking it at the moment. Ignorance, my good people, ignorance. Some of you will even go ahead and maybe try and be so much protective about the whole thing and try to defend the Prime Minister, which is not bad. He still remains the Prime Minister of Jamaica. But when it comes to the misuse of funds, the misuse of taxpayers' money, that should never even have a boundary about the respect you have for him. That should never even at once cross your mind over to defend him. Corruption is whatever is killing our societies today. Now, corruption takes its full course when there is conflict of interest. And in this case, the Prime Minister should actually apologize to Jamaicans and make sure if there is anything that was illegally transacted to his own company should be taken back to the government coffers, so that it might build hospitals and schools for Jamaicans. Now, there are so many Jamaicans who are going through a lot. We've seen a large number of Jamaicans trying to go out of their country to look for employment, to look for jobs. And when these things happen, do you think the common Jamaicans benefit? You're actually wrong. Those who benefit are those people close to the Prime Minister, the relatives, the children, and the whole family. Now, the larger number of Jamaicans go through a lot to pay taxes. Do you think even these companies being associated with the Prime Minister do pay taxes? Maybe, I do not know. But the real thing is that there is much to be done. And I think they should be doing more of these things. Expose those people who are laundering money. Expose those people who are misusing taxpayers' money. Why should you award yourselves the contracts that you yourself are signing the contracts to be done, then awarding them to your own companies? What's that? The Constitution of Jamaica states that every contract should have a procurement process in which a contract is being drafted. Then maybe the government announces it to the public, and those who are very much interested and those qualified parties or companies can apply for it. Then the whole criteria is being followed, and then the awarding of the contract comes therefore. But I'm very much in doubt if this happens, because if it was happening, why is it that it is only the Prime Minister's companies that are being awarded these contracts? Do you even think the Constitution is being followed on this? The contract procurement processes are being followed on this? I doubt. This is the time that Jamaicans, you should drop the ignorance that black people have always been carrying around. the syndrome that this is my prime minister and no one else can touch him, no one else should talk about him because he comes from my side, or he comes from my clan, or he comes from this side, or he comes from my party. That's whatever we are fighting as black people. It is time we realize that we are being taken down so fast than even the colonial masters did. The leaders we have today are more worse than the colonial masters we had. How can you be doing this while Jamaicans are suffering? Why do you go ahead to overquote and overprice contracts just to award them to your companies so that your families may benefit? This is why we see so many contracts, so many government projects stalled, so many schools that have been built but never completed. Do you know why? Due to the conflict of interest question. It is not in order for any public officer holding an office of the public to go ahead and award contract to his own companies. It is against the constitution of Jamaica. If you didn't know, I feel like it is time you know this. So brothers and sisters, however much we love our prime ministers, our presidents, our own what, our member of parliament or representative house, it is time we realize we are going down so fast if we continue allowing them and supporting them and defending them on social media platforms for whatever they are doing. They have taken that to their advantage and they are looting. Cancer hospitals do not have drugs. Cancer patients are dying. Children are not even able to go to school because their parents can't even afford the school fee. Why can't they make education free, or medical expenses or healthcare to be free, instead of looting money and directing them to their own companies? This is the time we pay taxes. But how our taxes are used is what we always ignore. It is better and it is best when we start following on how our taxes are being used by these leaders. They are there because we elected them. The prime minister is there because the people of Jamaica went to the ballot and elected members of the representative house, those who went ahead and elected him. So it is good when he actually have the interest of the people at heart, and he stops doing that. It is so bad. If you are a JLP or a PNP member watching this, it is not about the party, it is about the best of your country. Thank you so much for having taken your time to watch this. I appreciate so much. One love, my good people. Thank you so much.